Thank you. Can you see? Ismail ako hapo. Ismail ako hapo. Kuzazia. Alright, guys, again, welcome back to the next lesson, which is lesson 4. And in this lesson, we are going to take a look at the environmental setup and prepare our environment so that we can write our first application. So in the last video, we had looked at these concepts, and we had already completed the introduction. We also looked at these features of Spring Boot, and we looked at the modules of Spring Framework, and then we looked at this architecture diagram, which is what we are going to build. And then in this particular lesson, which is lesson 3, I want us to take a look at the environmental setup of Spring Boot so that we can set up our environment. So the first prerequisite that you need to know before writing any Spring Boot application is that you need to have the basic knowledge of Java programming. And we have a playlist on that. You can revisit and have the basic knowledge on Java fundamentals before continuing to the Spring Boot. You also need to have a brief understanding about the Spring Framework, and you also need to already have installed the JDK either in version 11, 17 or 18. So I believe that each one of you has already installed the JDK on their machine. If you have not installed, this is the link to install the JDK. I will also make sure I put this link in the video description so that you can click and install the JDK version. And then you will also need to have understanding of either Maven dependency management system or the Gradle management system. So in the upcoming video, we are going to explain the differences between the Maven and the Gradle. We will be using the two dependency management system in developing our applications. And then you will also need to install the IntelliJ IDE, and this is the link to install the IntelliJ IDE. You can as well click on this link and have this IDE installed. I will make sure I put this link in the video description to also help you install the IDE. And then you will also need to have installed the MySQL database, because in this playlist from this video and the next upcoming video, we will be using MySQL database to store our data. So this is the link to install MySQL database, and I will put it in the video description to help you access the MySQL database. And then you also need to be using the Postman REST client. We need to use Postman REST client to test our endpoints. So this is the client application that we are going to use. Instead of developing another complete application, we are going to use Postman as our client to test the endpoints and the application that we have built. So this is the link to download the Postman client. And this is all the requirements that we need. So you make sure that you have all these installed and understanding of some of the prerequisite concepts. Alright, so guys, in the next video, we want us to look at In the next lesson, let us look at the Spring Boot REST API, and we are going to look at the sample project that we will be building. So we are going to build this project, which is the learning management system. This is the project that we will be building as we continue, and it will help us to learn more from more concept from this Spring Boot REST API concept. So our learning management system will have the following modules. So we will develop a learning management system to demonstrate the concept of REST API web application with the Spring Boot framework. And this online learning management system that we are going to build will have the following modules. So we will have the user module, we will have the admin module, we will also develop the student module, we will also develop the instructor module, and we will be able to develop the course module, so that we will be able to, a user can be able to sign up, and a user can be able to log in, a user can be able to view their profile, an admin can be able to perform some tasks or related to administration, for example, removing a user, viewing all user, adding a course, and all that. With the student module, we can be able to add a student, we can be able to delete a student, we can be able to update a student, and the same thing to instructor module, and the same thing to course module. In the sense, we can be able to add a course, remove a course, update a course, and also delete a course. So these are all the modules that we're going to build in our system, and we will start with this simple concept as we build on it. So we will write all the CRUD operation, and we said CRUD operation means create, read, update, delete. We will write all these methods to help us to manipulate the above entities and which are in our system. So guys, and then we will also be using the MySQL database for our data storage. So we are going to use a MySQL database to store all the data related to these entities that we are going to have in our system. So, and then our Postman client, we are going to use it to test. We are going to provide the student data. For example, if we want to add a student, maybe we want to add a student name, first name, second name, we are going to provide this information in this client, and this client is going to send a request to our application, and our application is going to take that data and add it to our database. And when we want to get the same data, we send a request, and our application is going to fetch the data from the database, and then it is going to send us, and we are going to view this data in Postman client. Otherwise, guys, this is what we are going to build, and see you in the next video. I would want to end this video at this live stream here, and then start another fresh new live stream where we take a look at this concept of creating our first application. How do we go about creating our first Spring Boot application, and how do we actually test it? Otherwise, thanks for joining, and see you in the next live stream where we look at creating of the first